Yep, still finishing up some more chapters for today. Hopefully, I'll release 13 and 14 later tonight. 13 for sure. 14, I'll try to do a double hitter. We shall see, because I try to take advantage of all these days off. Yes, I do. Most assuredly, I do. But I was looking around at some more book stuff. It's like I'm beginning to wonder: is reading kind of a, what is it, like a it's not, I don't know how mainstream it is anymore, really. Like what kinds of reading, like which kinds of settings and wheelhouses. If I had anything to go by as far as even lists and everything else, I would say overall, the tawny romances pretty much keelhaul everybody else per capita, bar none. All the other genres pretty much, in terms of sheer volume, pale in comparison to IKEA romance. So when people say that women aren't catered enough to in books, uh, I can't really believe that statement because most books are made specifically for women in mind. Oh boy, are they ever. Oh, yeah. That's the reason why I try to even read outside my wheelhouse every once in a while just so I can get a sense of like hey, okay, this is how this person builds this, cuz yeah, once you actually start writing and you really get into the thick of things, you start noticing techniques other writers are using in their books. I'm like, "Oh, so that's how that person incorporated that." I find it both amusing, fun, and sometimes a little bit distracting when I'm trying just to read for fun. Because then the part of me is like, oh, wait, you know what? This might be a good trick to use in my own writing. Like, oh, it's like, stop it, brain. We're trying to read for entertainment right now. Oh, no, you're. No, no, I can't turn it off. Oh, no. Yeah, that's how it feels like sometimes. Oh, boy. And I find it especially fun that Uplift Protocol has fans outside of the United States from a couple of different areas, in fact, based on what I could see on the blog and a little bit of feedback that I've even gotten on Discord and a few other places. So that's always fun. And yes, that's the reason why some English shenanigans got introduced a bit early. Because there was someone out there that wanted to see a little bit more of what was outside of more of the United States. Because I did showcase a tiny bit of Tokyo, because they basically have their mech central over there. Um, but I haven't really explored too much of other parts of Earth just yet, mainly because the big part with book 2 with Thronebreaker, it's going to be Toth versus like the Terran Alliance and different aspects of Earth as we try to resolve part of that battle. Because some of that's going to actually carry a little bit over into Book 3 Mars, because that's going to deal more with like how to the Markav, and Atlantis and Atlan, all that stuff ties in, and the end capper for that, of course, will happen at the end of that book, to where we'll shift over to a little bit of the other part of the stage with dealing with more with the Allfather. I mean, you'll see hit bits and pieces of what all the other villains are doing and what they're aiming for all throughout the series and each season and whatnot. But uh, I'm taking quite a few cues from Babylon 5 and other places to see like which threads do I want to make it, happen and resolved in each book versus each arc versus each season versus like what's going to run throughout the whole series. You know, that I think is the fun of building up a book series. Is you like, ever since I've started writing and really getting into the habit of it, I'm a mix of pre-plan a few things and then a little bit more free form with other things. Like initially, like I said, the King of England was introduced a bit sooner than expected, because there are certain parties out there that want to see a little bit more of how Earth developed in terms of, well, if demis are there, then what nations exist on Earth? Well, so, I'll explore a little bit of that. And some nations never rose up because of demis and because of magic and because of keeper interference and because of how Atlan was trying to counterbalance that, and all the machinations within Atlantis. Because if you have like a K4 civilization that's already there, they were trying to stay. It was easier for them to stay hidden in some ways back when humanity was still developing versus now. And especially when you add demis in the mix that have different abilities, or if they're even tied with magic, like like you're gonna see in part of issue 13, different magics from different areas and even different universes intersect in wildly different ways sometimes. And I also threw in a few Easter eggs for those that when we played, our campaign earlier within a different form of this setting. Yeah, like some of their characters are already going to make some cameos or mentions. It was easier for me to integrate one of the players, their character, Rune, because at the end of the campaign that we had over the summer, basically into a little bit into the fall of 2019, um, he kind of got unstuck in time and space. And after defeating the big bad, or helping everybody defeat the big bad with the final blow, he got kind of transported. Um, yeah, so I figured that'd be an easy way to bring him in, so you could see a little bit about how the multiverse works. And while Rune himself won't like overtake the whole narrative, he'll offer a little bit of insight, like a compare and contrast, basically. And he's mainly there to help bridge the campaign and little winks and nods into my main series here. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. See you later, everybody.